In this video, we're gonna make a really cool Urban Decay concrete lamp that can weigh over 200 pounds.
And this video is in memory of my Karma Cash, so it's gonna be a special one.
So my design idea for this lamp is something that I haven't seen done in exactly this way before, so I'm really excited and also nervous to try it. It's gonna be a 5-foot freestanding behemoth of a concrete floor lamp. We're gonna have a knocked out, sort of decayed looking section in the middle with rebar running through that section, kind of forming a cage around an Edison bulb that's going to be extending down into this decayed opening right here. So this lamp could weigh over 200 pounds if my calculations are correct. First challenge is going to be creating this decayed section in the middle where it looks almost like a wrecking ball or something smashed it. Now I've seen people kind of chisel this out before, but that seems like a lot of work. I've got an idea to actually do it in the mold by creating a form from sand that we then pour the concrete around. The second part is going to be the electronics. I want all the wires to be hidden, so it just looks like the bulb is floating in the middle of this decayed concrete beam. We'll have to figure out a way to run the wires through the concrete, cast the concrete around it, and not screw up the electronics when we're pouring concrete over it. I think I've got ideas to make those work, and we will find out as we go. So the first step is going to be building a melamine form that we're going to pour the concrete into to make the lamp.
Got everything cut down, and now it's time to build the concrete form. This one, pretty darn simple, basically just a box. We're gonna assemble it with some drywall screws. And of course we're gonna pre-drill, because you gotta pre-drill it when you're going into melamine. Super easy way to get everything square. You just use a couple speed squares to line everything up. And then channel sponsor ROCKLER Woodworking makes these simple little corner clamps, which just lock into any 3/4 inch material. And then we lock it in with some hot glue before we can screw it in. If you're making melamine forms like this, if you don't line it up properly, this is what happens. Busted through to the inside. We're going for an Urban Decay look, so a little bit of imperfection is actually probably a good thing for the design. I'm just gonna say that, play it off like I meant to do it, but really I just wanted to show this as a cautionary tale to remind you guys to always be careful, mark your cuts, take your time. You really can't undo the imperfection that's gonna be left by that. With everything in the form assembled, it was time to waterproof the seams. We first put down a layer of paste wax on everything. And as always, I'm gonna be using silicone caulk. Then we come back with a cake fondant ball tool, run that over all the seams, pushes all the excess caulk to the sides. Then once the caulk is dried, you can peel that excess caulk away and you get left with that beautiful, satisfying, perfect caulk line on all the seams. I want to do a sidebar quickly to talk about this design and some of the design ideas that I didn't do on the way to arriving the design that I did do. My original idea was to leave the void just like I'm doing here with the sand, but actually to fill that whole void with epoxy and then have some way to illuminate inside the epoxy so it glowed in this cavity here. And I learned some things. So first, kind of simply, epoxy weighs a ton. It would have put this lamp at like 350 pounds. It might have been at the point where I don't even know how the hell we would have carried it upstairs. Also, most importantly, this lamp is in Karma's memory, and so his light's supposed to shine on. I didn't want something that would burn out after 5 years or 10 years like most LED lights will do. So I decided to hold on this idea, use the rebar, go with the classic vintage Edison bulb look suspended in the cavity, just so that I knew I could replace it. And I also think it looks really cool. Sometimes a little simpler can be better. And I think it was for the purposes of making a lamp in Karma's memory. Still think it might be a cool exercise in design to make a lamp like this on a little bit bigger scale. Leave a comment, let me know if you'd like to see that, and we might do that in a future video. And now, let's get back to this build. I've got some rebar right here. We're just gonna use that rebar to create kind of a cage structure that'll span between the lower and upper chunks of concrete. First, we gotta cut down the lengths of rebar on the chop saw. Then we're gonna bust out the welder, let some sparks fly, and have some fun with that. By the way, while I'm letting sparks fly, I'm decked head to toe in ARIAT Works FR fire resistant workwear. They are an amazing channel sponsor, and I will throw a link in the description if any of you need durable work clothes. So the idea here to get the urban decay effect with the two halves of concrete, jagged edges, and opening in the middle, instead of like trying to chisel it all out later, which is a ton of work, inexact, I've got a bunch of play sand here that I've wetted down, and we're basically gonna almost make like a sandcastle type thing in the middle here, stack that up, and then that sand will hold this rebar structure in place. So for the light, I picked up this waterproof socket. We're basically just gonna embed that right into the sand so that we can cast the concrete around it and hold it in place. But we're not just gonna leave the wire loose in the concrete. That would be a little bit risky. So instead, I picked up some 1/2-inch PVC pipe. We're gonna run the wire through the PVC pipe, have that all held in place, and then pour the concrete around that so that the wire runs through the PVC pipe inside the concrete, and the socket will be accessible from the opening in the middle. And if it doesn't make sense, you'll see when we put it all together how it's gonna work. All right, so I think we are good to go. We got the sand packed up all the way through. We got our PVC pipe running all the way down, coming out the back with the wire. I tested the wire before I put this in, and the lamp works. I batched out all the concrete mix, about 200 pounds worth. I'm thinking should be enough, especially with that. Ready to pour first thing in the morning.
Before we go further, a quick message from this video's amazing sponsor, Jackery. Jackery's portable power stations provide you with clean power whenever and wherever you need it. And when combined with Jackery's solar panels, they give you the ultimate solar power generator. And of course, they charge via your standard AC home outlet as well. These things provide a ton of power. The new Solar Generator 2000 Pro has an insane charging capacity of 2,160 watt hours and provides a power output of 2,200 watts. That's enough to power refrigerators, microwaves, and many power tools. The new 1000 and 2000 Pro models fully charge in under 2 hours with their fast AC charging. And with Jackery's Solar Saga panels, they can fully charge via solar in under 2.5 hours. But let's talk IRL. There are so many use cases for Jackery Power Station. With its solar charging, the Jackery can take your next outdoor adventure, camping trip, or even just your backyard barbecue to the next level. It can provide continuous power for your cooktops, to charge all your devices, to run your laptop from anywhere in the world. And back home, when extreme weather hits, the Jackery can be a lifesaver during power outages. If you get a notification about inclement weather or a blackout alert, that 2-hour fast charging could sure come in handy to get the thing fully charged and prepped for a storm. I've personally found the Jackery super useful with the current state of flux in my workshop, having things moved around so the drywall can go in there. I've just been keeping the Jackery by the workbench to use as a power outlet, which is so much nicer than having extension cords running all over the place. So far, I've tried it with a sander, a heat gun, a small dust extractor, and it has worked great for all those. It provides clean energy, and it is dead quiet. In fact, it's charging my computer and phone right now. With so many uses, the Jackery is a fantastic holiday gift. Plus, Jackery is currently running its best sale ever for the holiday season with huge sales on many models, including their brand new SG1000 and SG2000 Pro models. Give the gift of clean, portable power to a loved one or just to treat yourself. Follow the link in the description below. When you do, you'll not only be getting an amazing product, but you'll also be supporting this channel and all the content I do here. So thanks in advance for checking out Jackery, and thanks to Jackery for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back into it.
It's go time. Let's mix up the fish tone, pour this thing. We're gonna do the first batch of concrete, and then we're gonna do our little tribute to Karma on the second one. Got to ease into it a little bit before I get to that. So the time has come. So you guys lost the last video. You know I lost Karma Cat after 18 years together. So I'm making this lamp in his memory so his light will continue to shine on. We got his ashes here. And we're gonna mix some of those in with the lamp so he'll just be forever part of me. So goodbye, buddy. Miss you.
Next up, I made a design audible and decided to add a walnut base to the lamp. The base is going to be simple but elegant, basically just a box with a recessed floor for the lamp to rest in. So I started by cutting the mitered sides to length on the table saw. I then moved over to my ROCKLER ProLift router table to route out a ledge that the bottom pieces of the base will rest on. The ProLift router table is from channel sponsor ROCKLER Woodworking, link in the description if you guys are interested. Next, I cut the walnut boards for the floor of the base and verified that everything fit together nicely.
So I got all the walnut pieces for the base cut up right over here. We're gonna carve some little legs into each of the sides just to give it a little lift off the floor so it doesn't seem so bulky. To do that, we're gonna make a template on the CNC and then route out leg curves. All right, so apologies for all the clutter because we are working in a halfway moved back in workshop. I haven't moved all the storage and tables back into this main woodworking area because I'm debating whether I want to do concrete or epoxy floors in here, in which case I'll have to take everything out again. I am just so sick of renovation right now though, so very much up in the air. We'll see. It may just be rubber mats on the floor. But anyway, we got all four sides of the base clamped up. We're just going to use the tape as a clamp method to make our little box.
Cut this. Everybody get up. Everybody get up.
All right, guys, concrete Christmas Day, we get to demold. I'm super excited. So it is gonna be a little tricky because we used a bag and a half, which is like 75 pounds of sand, but then we added a bunch of water to it. So it's probably 100 pounds of sand. The melamine's probably another 70 pounds. And then the concrete, it's like 400 pounds. So we cannot move it until we demold it. I always like to check just to make sure it's mostly done curing. So like room temperature, we got about 63 degrees. This is about 68. So it still is curing a little bit, but that's fine. A few hours after you poured, and I shared this on my Instagram stories, which you guys should follow, it was at 114 degrees. So it was very hot as the chemical reaction of the concrete curing releases heat. But yeah, we're okay now, 67 degrees, so totally fine to demold this now. Plan here is I'm just gonna sand the back down, get it a little bit smoother. Then I'm just gonna try to take a shop vac and suck the sand out of the void as much as I can and take the melamine off. And then hopefully once we get all that out, we'll be able to maneuver it into the shop and hook up the lights. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm happy. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. I wanna make sure I don't cut the cord when I'm cutting this off. Basically, I'm just gonna put a pencil in to make sure that I don't go through. So I'll hit the pencil first. There we go. Success. This is no joke. And I hope that this is in the off position. Yeah! Yes. Okay. Very happy and relieved because it's my buddy in there and we only had one shot to make it light up and it lights. So I'm very happy. Karma's happy. Be with me forever, buddy. This thing is heavier than I expected and it's also really challenging to find a way for 3 people to grip it. Got Jacob here to help. And theoretically, 250 pounds, 3 guys should be able to get this up. But I don't know. We're gonna try, find out if we can do it. Oh, geez, that's heavy.
This is an insane workout just to keep you from tipping. Oop, what's up? Oop, like the Austin Powers. Oh my God, my arms are burning. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to lift the bottom part up. But okay. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Okay. Woo! We're in! Yes, we did it! Before we get to the beauty shots, a quick renovation update for all you guys following that. Still waiting on final inspection. Should be coming soon, I'm told, which means the final building tour will be coming soon as well. As for the lamp, I have one more surprise. I was looking around on Amazon and I found this DNA Edison style bulb. And I think that's gonna be the perfect touch to this tribute to Karma because it's a reminder that his DNA is in this lamp. So without further ado, let's light it up. If you guys like this one, I've got a bunch of other really cool concrete projects in the playlist right up there. Make sure you subscribe, bell, all that good stuff. That's it for this time, and I'll see you next time.